Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varisthaya Ramakrishna-ya te namaha. Friends, namaskar and a very good afternoon to you all. Today is the holy birthday of Srimad Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj. He was the second president of the Ramakrishna order, as you know. And sometimes people confuse this name with other Shivanandas. But then it is also good to know that he can be called Mahapurush Maharaj. In our tradition, he was known as Mahapurush Maharaj. Then we can find the differentiation. There is a great importance and benefit in studying the lives of great people, saints and sages. There is a wonderful incident in the life of Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi. Mother was there in Udbodhan office, and that time, Udbodhan house, and that time the Pujari Maharaj, the Swami who was serving as the priest in that shrine. So Pujari Maharaj was sick, therefore one new Swami was sent from Belur to proxy for him. And that time Holy Mother was there. So one day this Swamiji was doing something in the mother's shrine, Thakur's shrine that time. And one lady, she was the mother of one of our Swamis that time. She was present there sitting with Holy Mother, and then she was known as Nistarini Devi. She saw this new Swami and then she asked, "Hello Swamiji, how do you like Udbodhan?" Then this Swamiji said, "I like this place because Mother is there. But I miss something which I used to have in Belur. That is the study of scriptures. There is no study of scriptures." Then immediately Mother retorted and said, "What will you get studying scriptures? Try to read the lives. Then, see, I myself get, Sarat has written such beautiful life of Sri Ramakrishna, Thakur. So I get someone to read it out to me and I get benefited by that." So Mahapurush Maharaj himself once said, "What will you learn from scriptures? Can you read our lives?" So the scripture is applied in the lives of these great saints and sages. That is why the Mahabharata famously said that Mahajana yena gata sapantha. The path walked by the great people, that is the path for us, spiritual path. That means this is doable. The high spiritual ideals are doable. We can practice them while we still walk on this earth. Holy Mother said, it is not bad to be in this world, but it is bad to be of this world. It is not bad to be in this world, but it is bad to be of this world, to be materialistic, to be worldly. That is why there is great importance in studying the lives of great people. And in our tradition, particularly Ramakrishna order monks, we study the lives of saints and sages of all religions. Because it is not that we study them to follow their path, but we study their lives to get inspiration, to glean inspiration from those books, from their lives, to lead our own life according to the ideals set in front of us by Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. We know what is our path, But we try to see that there are so many people, co-sojourners, who can inspire us and can inspire us in our pursuit, spiritual pursuit. Therefore, that is the big importance of reading the lives of great people. Now, about Swami Shivananda ji. He was born on 16th December 1854 at Barasa, that is near Kolkata. So we have a center there now. And his pre-monastic name was Taraknath. His father's name was Ramkanai Ghoshal and mother's name was Vama Sundari Devi. And this Mr. Ghoshal, that is Tarak's father, was a solicitor to the estate of Rani Rasmani. Therefore, he was known to Thakur, known to Sri Ramakrishna. So when Tarak came to meet Sri Ramakrishna knew his family. And apart from that, there is another incident that when Sri Ramakrishna had great burning feeling throughout his body when he was doing sadhana, that time someone advised him to put on Ishta Kavacha, a kind of amulet to put on around the arm. So and that was supplied by this Ramkanai Ghoshal, because he himself was a spiritual practitioner and following the path of Tantra. That is why he set up a Panchamundi Asana, a seat according to the Tantric tradition, which had 5 skulls of different animals. One, of course, was a human skull. Of course, we belong to that animal kingdom. And so that asana, that altar is still there. Still there, it is part of the Nat Mandira, this just outside the sanctum sanctorum of that temple. So Ramkana gave that Ishtakavach to Sri Ramakrishna. That amulet is no more available so far as I know, because it used to be there, I heard, somewhere in Belur Math, but now that cannot be located. So, and this Tarak's mother passed away at an early age. And after that, Tarak started feeling the emptiness in this world. And that time, Tarak heard the word Samadhi from his friends. And that intrigued him very much, what this word could mean. He used to do some contemplation or meditation according to his own idea. But he was very much curious to know what this word Samadhi would mean. What a person would achieve or what a person has to do to achieve this. So he was very interested in that, and we can remember the similar incident from the life of Swami Vivekananda. It will be nice to remember that incident, as you must know that one day Professor Hasty in the school where Swami Vivekananda was studying, that time he was Narendranath. He came, he was the principal of that school, and he saw that this class where Narendra was studying did not have a regular teacher that day. So the children were making noise. So Hasty entered that class, and then he started talking with the children, and then he took up the English poem, that is the Excursion, written by William Wordsworth. And there this word ecstasy comes several times in that big long poem. And then he wanted to explain what is that ecstasy meant. But what happened that he himself did not have any idea of that. But he said someone in Dakshineshwar known as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to have this ecstasy, samadhi, every now and then. So that led Swami Vivekananda to Sri Ramakrishna. Here also it may be this word which led Swami Shivananda or Tarak to Sri Ramakrishna. And as Tarak's mother died, then his father pressed him to marry. At a very early age he married, but his mind was not towards these worldly things and family life. So he went on searching for some solution to his questions. And then he shifted his residence to Kolkata. He took a job in one company and he spent time there. But that created a nice opportunity for him to visit Sri Ramakrishna as and when he wanted. So it was in 1880 that Tarak went to meet Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineswar. And during his meetings with Sri Ramakrishna, he came across many ideas about spiritual life. And one great benefit was that he saw Sri Ramakrishna with his own eyes going into that ecstasy or samadhi every now and then. That was very fulfilling for Tarak, but he still wanted to have that for himself. Now in between, what happened that Taraknath saw that Sri Ramakrishna was speaking so wonderful words which are very important in practical spiritual life. So he wanted to note down those words. He would intently listen to Sri Ramakrishna's words, and then afterwards he would go and write down those words. And one day he was listening to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna looked at him and understood. And he said, "Why are you listening to these words with so much attention? This is not meant for you. There would be someone who could do that. So you need not do it." Then that discouraged Taraknath, and he was also a bit annoyed because Sri Ramakrishna did not allow him to note down his words. So he took out that notebook and tore it apart and threw it in the Ganges. Actually speaking, afterwards aim came to Sri Ramakrishna and the whole gospel started from there. So, and aim came at the juncture when he was completely lost faith in the world, and he wanted to commit suicide. And there is a wonderful event in this regarding this, that when people, at what time do people want to commit suicide? Sri Ramakrishna says that Ishvara Virag and Vishaya Virag, Ishvara Anurag. The renunciation does not mean that we renounce the world, but we have to hold on to something which is positive and opposite to that. We have to hold on to God. So here Master Mahasaya saw that he lost all hope in this world. Therefore, since he was not connected with God, so there was no other way but committing suicide. So he wanted to finish off his earthly life. But then destiny led him to Sri Ramakrishna, and we see that event created the greatest spiritual literature or gospel in the world. Nowhere, in no tradition, in no religion you will find such an intimate conversation between the householders and an incarnation of God. You see that when you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we call it Sri Ramakrishna Vachanamrita, Kathamrita, etc. But the thing is that it is not actually Vachanamrita. Sri Ramakrishna is speaking, you start reading the Gospel, what you see there? You see Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is sitting on that couch, small couch. Sri Ramakrishna is talking to this person, it is talking to these people, looking at that person. You can see by yourself who was sitting in front of you. So that is a Leelamrita also. In such great details, nowhere you will get such an account of the day-to-day life of an incarnation of God. What we see here, as you know, that Sri Krishna was asked by Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the characteristics of a realized soul, sthita prajna. And he asked about the outer signs like kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim sthitadhi. So what way, how does that person speak? How does that person sit? How does that person behave, conduct himself? But Sri Krishna did not give an answer to that directly there. Because these questions belong to the behavioral psychology, and which talks about the behavior of a person, and from that they assume the inner changes, inside changes that happen in that person. But that is not the way to look at that, because we can practice some actions. We can practice how to say hi, hello, etc. outwardly to be very nice to people. That is the action part. But the reaction brings out the original person. If we start abusing someone, scolding, and then you see the inner reality of that person comes out. So action does not prove the inner reality of a person, rather the reactions do. So here also you see that Sri Krishna did not care about that question. Of course, in the 5th chapter he went in details about that. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavid pasyan srinvan sprisan jigran asnan gachan swapan swasan pralapan vistrijan grinnan unmisan nimishan api, etc. All the outward manifestations of the inner transformation. That he talked about in the 5th chapter, much later. But the question happened in the 2nd chapter. So see, these changes do happen inside, and that bring out the original person. So in the gospel you will see that Sri Ramakrishna is talking, and it brings about, it creates a picture of that place, that scene, and nowhere in the world you will find a spiritual literature which gives that depiction of the life of an incarnation of God. And not only that, the gospel also is talking to the householders. Actually speaking, it may be that God does not need to take the form of an incarnation to help the monastics, but rather he comes down to help the grihasthas, the family people. So that is a great spiritual literature here for those who live in the family, and most of the human population are like that. So it is very helpful. So Taraknath, Sri Ramakrishna said it was not meant for him, so he reacted that way. But afterwards they all accepted that Master Bhasa was the best person to do that. And then Taraknath continued his visit, and then once he went to Bodha Gaya, because that idea of samadhi was still pursuing his mind, and so when he went to Bodha Gaya and visited that place and came back without informing Sri Ramakrishna. And when they came back, Sri Ramakrishna said, "You won't find anything elsewhere, everything is here, here, here," like that he said. So that made him more serious about being with Sri Ramakrishna. And then, well, we will go fast to the next part, that Sri Ramakrishna passed away. And then what happened, some people like Taraknath, they become almost homeless because they did not know where to return, because by that time they quit their home and started serving Sri Ramakrishna and coalescing around him. So they did not know what to do. They never planned that way. So somehow the destiny brought them to Baranagar, and they found that place and they started living there. That was in 1886, yeah. So then after that, after 1 year, they all went to Anandpur. You know that famous incident that on 24th of December that year, that was 1887, so they took the vow of sannyasa at Anandpur, and that night they read the life of Jesus, and the spirit of renunciation of Jesus influenced them, encouraged them very much, and then they took the vows of sannyasa there. And then he was given the name Shivananda. Of course, that vow, that Howrah happened later. Sannyasa ceremony happened later. But he was named Shivananda, and from that time he was known as Swami Shivananda. The name was given by Swami Vivekananda. And after that, one day when they were living in Varanagar, then Swami Vivekananda was praising the spirit of renunciation, spirit of detachment, spirit of being free from lust, about Sri Ramakrishna's spirit. So he was talking about that. Sri Ramakrishna was the greatest person who could conquer lust. Then Mahapurush spontaneously said that yes, in his life also, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, he himself could do that. Then Swamiji commented, then you are a Mahapurush, a great person. And therefore he was called Mahapurush Maharaj, and all along he was known to be Mahapurush Maharaj. But Swami Shivananda kept himself engaged in sadhanas, and that took him to some different parts of India and also to Sri Lanka. He went there to preach, and then he started establishing centers. Swami Vivekananda established the Ramakrishna mission in 1897 at Balaram Mandir, and Shivananda became an active member of that board. And so after that, Swami Shivananda took part in the famous plague relief in Kolkata in 1899. Then in 1902, Swami Shivananda was sent to Varanasi to establish a center. The king of Varanasi, who was known as Bhringar Maharaj, he gave some money, I believe it was about 300 rupees in those days, to establish a center of services, because he was inspired by Swami Vivekananda's ideal of service. So Swami Shivananda went to organize that, and that created the present day Varanasi Ramakrishna Sevasrama, which caters to the need of patients. We have a general hospital there and also some other facilities available there. So that was his creation actually, and he had to collect some more money to complete the construction and establishment of that center. And then we will see that Swami Shivananda ji traveled. Actually, he wanted to go to the Nilgiris to take rest. And I will come to that a bit later. Now let me go to another center which was established by Swami Shivananda ji. Again, Swami Vivekananda requested him to go to Almora. Swamiji had a fascination for the hills and also snow-clad mountains. Therefore, he requested Shivananda ji. He said, Tarakda, why don't you go there and establish a center there? He was always addressed as Tarakda because he was older in age, and so Swamiji always addressed him with respect. So he went there to Almora and set up the center there. It was not an easy task. So far as we know from the records, that he had to do a lot of work to establish that center in Almora. Then in 1910 he was elected a vice president of the Ramakrishna order, and in 1922 the president. Then after that he fell sick and he went to recuperate from that to the Nilgiris. Doctors advised him to go to the Nilgiris, and we know that on his way he visited Kadapa. Kadapa, now we have a center there. And for a long time it was not there. There was Ramakrishna Samajam earlier, and afterwards it was renamed as Ramakrishna Samiti. And then much later, it may be in 2004, sometime in 2004, that we could get that property. One Sufi gentleman, he saw Swami Shivananda ji, took initiation from him, and also donated a part of his property, which is now inside the Kadapa town, the center of the Kadapa town. And fortunately I was able to go there while this takeover was happening, and we could do things so that the property would come to the Ramakrishna order. And things were all done, and almost everything was pre-organized. So we had people there who helped us to change the ownership of that property. Within 2-3 days all these things happened. So the Kadapa center came into being. And that time this person, the Sufi gentleman, donated that property to Swami Shivananda ji. And then he went to Uti. You know that there again this miracle happened. Miraculous incident happened that Swami Shivananda went there and he liked that place, and he thought that it would be nice to establish a center there. And he was searching for a plot of land and going from this place to that place. And in the meanwhile, during that time, the mother, that was Mariamma, she appeared in the dream of a washerman there, some Pillai, Mr. Pillai. And then in consecutive 3 nights in the dream, she appeared and told him to donate a plot of land which belonged to him, to this washerman family, to some people who are searching for a land. And something in the last dream the mother told Mr. Pillai that tomorrow you go and see that some people will be searching for a plot of land. They are holy people, and you give that land to them. And he did come across Swami Shivananda ji there, and then donated about 2 acres of land in Uti, and that is the Uti Ashrama nowadays. So, and he saw that that is converted into an affiliated center. So that came into being in around 1923-24, like that. And then another very, very significant thing happened in Swami Shivanandaji's life, that he was instrumental in organizing the first convention, devotees and monks of the Ramakrishna order, in 1926. That was the very first convention of the order. And the purpose of that order was to bring more closeness between the laity and the monastics, and also to frame the works so that the devotees can take part in them, like that. So in that direction they worked, and that convention was a big success. And that time all the other great Swamijis were there. And there is a very interesting incident about that convention that I heard from our seniors. I don't know if it is anywhere written in our records or books. So that Swami Nikhilanandaji read the presidential address of Swami Shivanandaji. Swami Shivanandaji was there on the dais, and Swami Nikhilanandaji read his address. And after the address was read out, Shivanandaji remarked, Nikhilananda spoke very well. It was his lecture. Then the Swami sitting next to him said, Maharaj, it was your lecture. He was so much unattached. But it was a treasure house of advices, how the order can proceed. The beauty of the Ramakrishna order is that it is not an order of only monks, it is an order of devotees and monks. Therefore, his advice, his message during that convention is of a great importance. Even the message or the talk given by Swami Sarada Devi, that also stands as a very, very great, inspiring teaching to the devotees and monks of the Ramakrishna order. So that was an achievement in those days in 1926, and they had to work day and night to make it a success, and it did become a success afterwards. So that was to his credit, and we may remember that in 1980 we had the next conference. After 1926, we had the next conference of the devotees of the Ramakrishna order, and the purpose was to bring all the satellite centers which were not yet affiliated to the Ramakrishna order, which are not yet affiliated also even today. Some of them are there, and that is why we have this Bhava Prachar Parishad. So that concept got crystallized during that 1980 convention. So these two conventions have their relevance in our order, and it teaches a great deal of joint approach to human problems, not only by monks but by devotees also, who are the real sufferers of the problems. So Shivanandaji, as I said, he was very much unattached. He did not claim that it was his talk. He, the Shivananda Vani is there. The teachings of Swami, reminiscences of Swami Shivanandaji, it is a treasure house of practical spiritual life. He is talking from his own experiences and also from the experiences of the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. We have translated that book into German, and the people who are editing that book in Germany, the German devotees, they are so much fascinated by the teachings that it is so practical, so simple, and we can simply change a little bit of our direction or a little bit here and there, and we can improve upon our own habits. That is why they are very much eager to publish that as a book in German. So even when you read this in English, the reminiscences of Swami Shivananda, you will see that everywhere you will find yourself. Swami Shivanandaji is almost talking to you, not to others. Because the problems are, some general problems are there, every one of us suffer from that. So there is no uniqueness in the part of one person to claim that this is only my problem. No, it is problem for everyone who is treading the path of spirituality. So there in almost all these talks by, or conversations, question answers by Swami Shivanandaji, that you will find yourself there. So there are big passages also. Then you will see that he is pouring out his own practical spiritual experiences, which are almost some places tallying with your own experiences, if you are really seriously practicing spiritual life. So that is a great recognition of our own efforts. So that is perhaps one of the greatest treasures that he has left behind. So that we are translating. I myself am getting fascinated again, newly getting fascinated by the words when they are translated into German. You have to dive deep into those sentences to find out what actually he wanted to say and how that sentence can be translated into a different language. You discover some different dimensions from that. This you can see when you are translating from one language into another language, any sentence, you will see that it is not that easy. I remember once we were translating the reminiscences of Holy Mother, this newly collected by Swami Purnatmananda. So we were translating that for Vedanta Keshari. And one English professor in Kolkata University who retired afterwards as the principal of the School of Languages in Golpark, and I requested her to translate that. She is a native Bengali. Bengali is her mother tongue, and she was a professor of English. But one sentence Holy Mother said, "Baba amake deko." That's all. And she did not know how to translate that. She sent that sentence to me and asked me to translate it. I almost broke my head to find out the meaning of that, because it is not matching with the personality of Holy Mother. That she would say, just meditate on me or pray to me like that. No, it cannot be translated that way. Call on me also, Mother cannot say that. So it is not that easy, but when you are dealing with these types of things of translation, then you see that your mind becomes more focused, and then you discover many dimensions of the same sentence, of the same word, and it will be difficult to choose any meaning or any one of them until and unless you are familiar with the character and life of that person who spoke it. So therefore it is not that easy. So when we are translating that into German, the Swami Shivananda's reminiscences, that is something very new for me also, that I am finding so many things there in one sentence to translate into German. And even German devotees, they are native Germans, they are also getting fascinated by the treasure of the spiritual teachings there in that great book. So that's how he lived, and he talked with people in the monastery. He is not only talking to the monks but talking to devotees also. They have been compiled in that book. And then in 1933, Maharaj had a stroke. They call it stroke thrombosis. And he was paralyzed on the right side. And he was almost incapacitated. And that time he used to practice the complete dependence on God, on Sri Ramakrishna. His face used to be beaming with joy always. You see, because they are people of realization, no one can take away that joy from them, because they have realized that joy. They have found that joy in them and they could manifest that joy. So there is a song by the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. It says that, I get your vision now and then, but why don't I get it always? Maharaj heard that song and he was very much upset, saying that only one vision of God will change all your life and remove all your doubts. And this fellow gets that vision every now and then, but still he wants to get it always. So only one vision of God will change the whole life of yours and remove all the doubts. Vidyate hridaya granthe chidyante sarva samsayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. So everything, all your karmas will fall apart, all your knots in the mind will be cut asunder, all your doubts will vanish forever. Like that this mantra goes. So by one glimpse or one darshan of God, or by one realization, and this fellow says that he is getting realization, darshan or vision of God every now and then, but he wants it always. So that is how the practical life is. Sri Ramakrishna also won't accept, sometimes he won't accept some theoretical conclusions of the technical Vedanta. Well, there was a debate. Someone said that Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, they were not technical philosophers. Okay, fortunately I was there in that meeting and I said they need not be. Because Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, they were all technical philosophers. They had to support their conclusions by referencing or quoting from these great teachers. They are teachers of humanity, they are not philosophers. So you have to support your philosophical conclusions citing their examples. Therefore, that they need not be technical philosophers. That is foolish to say that way. So, experience is like that. Sri Ramakrishna sometimes contradicted those theoretical conclusions. Once I have seen, several times I have seen Swami Bhuteshananda Ji Maharaj, when he is talking about some philosophical intricacies of Vedanta or some other philosophy, and someone suddenly says that, but Thakur said this, and it was a full stop for him. He would say, okay, then we stop here. Because you cannot contradict Sri Ramakrishna, whose experience, whose philosophy or life teachings are based on experiences. You see, there is a word darshana, Vedanta darshana. Darshana means what is seen, experience, much clearer than seeing with our own eyes. That is what is called darshana. There is no scope for speculation. According to Western philosophy, philosophy means speculation. A lot of such things are there. That is why you see that the successive followers of a great philosopher, like suppose Socrates, his disciple or his follower, Plato, he deviated from the Socratic philosophy and floated his own philosophy, because his ideas were all based on speculation. But here in India, our philosophy, darsana, is based on experiences. To give an example to show the difference between experience and the philosophy or speculation, suppose someone has gone up to the 10th floor of a building, and from there he is narrating his experience to people who are standing on the ground. From there he is saying how he went up, whether he took a lift, whether he went by the staircase, where somewhere there was a spiral staircase, etc. These are all his experiences. But from the 10th floor, he is narrating those experiences to us who are standing on the ground floor and who want to go up to that level. So what happens? To us on the ground, it becomes an information. And we start speculating about all the things he is saying. That is the theory of the philosophy. But for that person it is darshana, realization. It is never a speculative thing. That is why Vedas are called sacrosanct, because there is no scope for speculation. All are experiences. When Mahapurush Maharaj says that this does not make sense, that you say you had a vision once and after that still you are aspiring for that vision. So that shows that this person did not have any vision at all. So this is the difference between the lives and teachings of people and the philosophical technicalities. So therefore, their lives actually speak a lot. Mahaprabhu said, can you study our lives? Can you read our lives? So, like that. And when I would just conclude within 2-3 minutes, there is a very nice incident about that. I heard it from Swami Bhuteshananda Maharaj. Bhuteshananda Maharaj went for tapasya, practicing austerities in the Himalayas in Uttarkashi, and took leave from Mahapurush Maharaj. And when he came back after 2 years, then he saw Mahapurush Maharaj was bedridden, lying down there. Maharaj made pranam to Mahapurush Maharaj, stood near his feet and looked at Mahapurush Maharaj. Mahapurush Maharaj looked at him and smiled and said, "What are you seeing?" Because Maharaj was feeling sad that Mahapurush Maharaj suddenly there on the bed, he cannot get up. So he said, "What are you seeing here? You are looking at the body. This will go," he said, "but I am at peace, in joy," he said. And that was so forceful, it touched the heart of Bhuteshananda Maharaj. And he said, as if it filled my chest, like that. So he did not have any remorse for this body or for suffering, but he was in joy because he was not attached to the body. Same thing happened with Sri Ramakrishna. Some Pandit came from the west, and west means the western part of India or Pakistan. So he was standing there looking at Sri Ramakrishna, and then in his mind he was thinking whether he was talking to someone and saying, "This is a holy man, how can he have such disease?" And Sri Ramakrishna immediately looked at him and told someone nearby, said, "He is talking about the body, talking about the body." See? So it is like that. So it is of great importance and great benefit for us, those who are trying to lead a spiritual life, that we read their lives, because that inspires. That inspires much more than our study of philosophies or Vedanta or whatever it may be. So it is a great occasion to share some thoughts and incidents from the life of Swami Shivananda ji with you. I am thankful to Swamiji's here, Swami Satyaganananda ji and others for giving me this wonderful chance to be with you and to speak about this wonderful life. Thank you very much and namaskar.